Welcome to Reddit Affairs, the place where secrets are revealed and hearts are broken. Sit back, relax, and let this story take you on an emotional ride. And remember, if you love deep, dramatic stories, don't forget to subscribe and support the channel. They say you can feel it before you know it. That gut-deep sense that something is wrong. For weeks, I tried to ignore it. The late replies, the girls' nights that ended past midnight, the sudden change in her perfume. But denial is easier than heartbreak. Her name was Emily, and for 4 years, she was my world. We met in college. She was the kind of girl everyone noticed, not because she was the loudest, but because she had this effortless charm. She laughed with her whole face, loved coffee with too much sugar, and used to trace hearts on my hand while we watched movies. For a long time, I believed we were unbreakable, until the night everything shattered. It was a Friday early fall. I had just finished a brutal week at work, and I thought, why not surprise her? I grabbed her favorite takeout, a bottle of cheap wine, and drove home humming to the radio. Her car was already parked outside our apartment. Odd. She told me she'd be at her friend's place till late. At first, I brushed it off. Maybe plans changed. Maybe she wanted to surprise me, too. But when I walked to the door, I noticed the lights were dimmed and music was playing, not our usual playlist, but something slow, sultry. My heart started to race. I put my hand on the doorknob, turned it quietly, and stepped inside. I wish I hadn't. The smell hit me first, that mix of perfume, sweat, and wine. Then I heard laughter, a man's voice, low and confident. I froze. From the hallway, I could see the living room. There she was, Emily, wrapped in nothing but a sheet, sitting on the couch beside a guy I didn't recognize. He was shirtless, relaxed, like he owned the place. For a second, my brain refused to process it. I stood there just watching, numb. Then she saw me, her face drained of color. "Wait, I can explain," she stammered, jumping up. I dropped the takeout bag. The sound made both of them flinch. "There's nothing to explain," I said quietly. My voice didn't even sound like mine. The guy started putting on his shirt, mumbling something about not knowing. I didn't look at him. I just turned and walked out. I don't remember much after that. I drove somewhere, I don't even know where. Just far. At one point, I parked by the lake and sat in silence, staring at the water. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely light a cigarette, even though I quit years ago. My phone buzzed nonstop, calls, texts, messages. I didn't answer a single one. At 3 a.m., one message came through. "I made a mistake. Please, I love you. Don't give up on us." I threw my phone across the car. The next few weeks were hell. Sleep didn't exist. Food tasted like nothing. I deleted our pictures, but somehow she still lingered in every corner. Her hairbrush, her hoodie, her mug on the counter. Friends told me to move on. You're better off without her. Yeah, maybe, but love doesn't switch off that easily. She tried everything. Showed up at my work crying. Left letters on my doorstep. Begged mutual friends to talk to me. At first, I ignored her. But part of me wanted to know why. Why risk everything we had for a moment with a stranger? When I finally picked up her call, her voice broke. "Please, can we just talk?" I should have hung up, but instead I said, "Fine, one last time." We met at a small cafe near campus, the same place where we had our first date. The smell of cinnamon and coffee hit me as soon as I walked in, and for a second, it felt like déjà vu. She looked different, tired, eyes red and swollen, makeup barely covering the damage. When she saw me, she stood up like she didn't believe I actually came. "Thank you for coming," she said softly. I didn't say anything. She started talking, words spilling out like a broken faucet. I was drunk. I wasn't thinking. It didn't mean anything. I swear it was a one-time mistake. I just watched her, emotionless. Then she reached across the table and said, "I'll do anything to fix this. Please, just give me a second chance." And that's when it happened. That flickered an idea. Something dark but satisfying. I smiled. "Okay," I said. Her eyes widened. "Wait, you mean it?" "Yeah, I nodded slowly. Everyone deserves a second chance. She didn't know it yet, but that second chance was going to be one she'd never forget. The night after that cafe meeting, I couldn't sleep. Her words echoed in my head, the same rehearsed apologies every cheater gives. I made a mistake. It didn't mean anything. I still love you. And yet, something inside me shifted. I wasn't sad anymore. Not broken. Just cold. When I agreed to give her a second chance, I saw a flicker of hope in her eyes. The same eyes that once looked at another man the same way. But this time, I wasn't the same person. I wasn't coming back to rebuild what we had. I was coming back to end it on my terms. We started dating again, slowly. At least, that's what she thought. She texted me every morning. Good morning, babe. I love you. I'd reply hours later with something short. She didn't complain. She was just grateful I was still there. She cooked dinner for me, brought me little gifts, tried to make everything like before. But the truth was, nothing felt the same. When she'd smile, I'd see the lie behind it. When she hugged me, I felt nothing but emptiness. Still, I played my role. The forgiving boyfriend. The one who was trying to heal. But behind the smile, I was watching, listening, collecting. One evening, we sat on the couch watching a movie. She rested her head on my shoulder, whispering, "I can't believe you forgave me." I smiled faintly. "Everyone deserves a second chance," I said. Inside, I was laughing, because I'd already started documenting everything. Screenshots of her messages, voice notes of her apologies, a little journal where I wrote down every lie she told, even the small ones. I told myself it wasn't about revenge at first. It was about control, about not being the victim anymore. But as the weeks went on, it became something darker. She introduced me to her friends again, pretending like nothing ever happened. "Oh, we worked things out," she'd say proudly, holding my hand. I'd just smile. Her friends looked uncomfortable. They all knew. Everyone knew. But no one said a word. That silent pity in their eyes only fueled me more. I decided I'd make her feel what I felt. The humiliation, the helplessness, the pain. So I waited. 2 months passed. She started acting comfortable again, no longer nervous, no longer desperate. That's when old habits started creeping back in. Late replies, hidden screens, the faint scent of a different cologne on her clothes. I noticed everything. One night, while she was in the shower, her phone buzzed. Curiosity turned into confirmation. A text from an unsaved number. "Can't stop thinking about last night. When can I see you again?" My hands went cold. It wasn't betrayal that hurt. It was how predictable it was. I didn't open the message thread. I didn't confront her. Instead, I took a photo of the message and set the phone back down exactly how I found it. The next few weeks, I gathered more evidence discreetly. Screenshots of her texts, voicemails, even pictures of her nights out. Every time she lied, I made a note of it. It wasn't hard. Cheaters think they're smart, but they're lazy. They repeat patterns. The more I watched, the clearer it became. She didn't feel guilty anymore. She felt safe. She thought I'd never suspect her again. That was her biggest mistake. It was a Thursday when I decided it was time. I spent the entire night planning everything down to the smallest detail. Saturday would be our special night. She'd been begging to have a fresh start dinner. Candles, wine, something romantic. I told her it was a great idea. I even promised to surprise her with something meaningful. She lit up like a child on Christmas morning. If only she knew. The day came. I arrived early, carrying a bag with everything I needed. A USB drive, a few printed screenshots, and a calmness I hadn't felt in months. She opened the door wearing the red dress I bought her on our anniversary, the same one she once worn for me, and apparently for someone else too. "You look beautiful," I said. Her smile was pure relief. "I'm so glad we're doing this. I feel like things are finally right again." "Yeah," I said quietly. "Me too." We ate. We talked. We even laughed a little. For a moment. If you didn't know better, you'd think we were just two people in love. But my heart was ice. When dinner ended, she poured wine and asked, "So what's the surprise?" I smiled. "You'll see." I walked over to her TV, plugged in a USB, and pressed play. The screen flickered, and then came the first image. A screenshot of her text messages. Then another. Then another. Her smile vanished. "Wait, what is this?" she whispered. I didn't answer. The slideshow continued. Pictures, messages, timestamps. Her lies, one after another, filling the screen like a confession she couldn't escape. Her hands started to shake. "Please stop. I can explain." I turned to her and said, calm as stone, "You begged for a second chance. I gave it to you, and you wasted it." Tears spilled down her face. "I didn't mean to hurt you. I just—" "No." I cut her off. "You didn't mean to get caught." I stood up, grabbed my coat, and headed for the door. She followed me, sobbing, "Please don't do this. I love you." I looked at her one last time. "You love control. You love being forgiven. But you don't love me." And with that, I left. That night, I felt strangely peaceful. Not happy, just free. For the first time in months, the silence didn't hurt. I turned off my phone, deleted her number, and watched the city lights blur through my windshield as I drove away. It wasn't revenge that satisfied me. It was knowing she'd spend the rest of her life remembering that moment, the night her lies finally caught up to her. It's been a year since that night. A year since I walked out Emily's apartment and left everything, the lies, the guilt, the memories, behind. People say time heals. That's not true. Time doesn't heal. It teaches. And it taught me that closure doesn't come from forgiveness. It comes from finally understanding who someone truly is. For months after that night, she tried to contact me. Calls, messages, long paragraphs about finding herself and wanting to talk. I ignored them all. Eventually, the noise stopped, and with every week of silence, I started to breathe again. I moved to a new apartment, got a promotion at work, started running in the mornings. For the first time in years, I felt like I was living for myself. But no matter how far I moved forward, she always lingered, not as love, but as a lesson carved deep into my skin. It's strange how betrayal changes you. You stop believing in forever. You stop expecting honesty. But you also learn to read people, to see through smiles, to hear the truth behind silence. And for that, I'll always be grateful. It was late November when she came back into my life, not by choice, but by accident. I was at a friend's engagement party. Music, laughter, people dancing. I was actually enjoying myself, something I hadn't done in a long time. And then I heard her voice. I froze. It was faint, familiar, slicing through the noise like a ghost from another life. I turned around, and there she was, Emily. She looked different, thinner, tired, her hair shorter, her smile weaker. When our eyes met, she went pale. For a second, she hesitated. Then she walked toward me. "Hi," she said softly. "Hi." I replied, calm but distant. "I didn't know you'd be here," she said, nervously tucking her hair behind her ear. Yeah, small world. There was a silence between us, the kind that carries 1,000 unspoken things. She finally said, "You look good, happier." "I am," I said simply. She smiled sadly. "I'm glad. Really, you deserve that." There was sincerity in her tone, but I'd learned the hard way not to trust voices that once lied with love. "So how have you been?" I asked. Her eyes dropped. "Honestly, not great. I messed up a lot. I've been trying to fix things, but..." She stopped, then looked at me again. "You probably don't care." "I do," I said, "just not the way I used to." She nodded slowly, as if she expected that answer. We talked for a few minutes. She told me about her job, how she left her old apartment, how the guy she cheated with turned out to be worse than she imagined. Apparently, he cheated on her too. Karma. She said it like a confession, not a complaint. "I deserved it," she admitted quietly. "I thought I could move on, but I keep thinking about what I did to you." I looked at her. For a moment, I saw the girl I once loved, but she was gone. replaced by someone who finally understood the cost of her choices. I don't hate you, Emily, I said. I just stopped trying to understand you. She blinked back tears. I never stopped loving you. I smiled faintly. Maybe, but you stopped respecting me, and that's what killed it. Before I could say more, someone called her name, a man standing across the room. Her boyfriend, I assumed. He waved politely. She turned, waved back, then looked at me again. Guess I should go, she said. Yeah, I said, but before she left, she asked, Can I tell you something? Sure. She took a shaky breath. That night, when you showed me everything, the messages, the screenshots, I hated you, but later, I realized it was the best thing anyone's ever done for me. You made me face myself. You made me see who I really was. She smiled through tears. Thank you for that. I just nodded. Take care of yourself, Emily. And that was it. No dramatic goodbye, no anger, no tears. Just two people standing in the ruins of what used to be love. That night, I drove home in silence. The city lights blurred past my window, and for the first time, I didn't feel bitterness. Just peace. It hit me then. Revenge isn't about making them suffer. It's about taking back your power. About walking away, knowing you'll never let someone like that break you again. Emily became my closure, without even realizing it. Not because I hurt her, but because I showed her the truth. And maybe, deep down, that's the real revenge. Not destroying someone, but letting them destroy themselves by remembering what they lost. A few weeks later, I got a message from an unknown number. It was her again. Just one line. I finally understand what you meant. I'll never forget it. I didn't reply. I didn't need to. I deleted the message, smiled, and walked outside. The air was cold, crisp, the kind that wakes you up. And for the first time in years, I felt completely free. Because sometimes the best revenge is simply moving on.